Hello reviewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about an interesting topic of Android's future. So let's dive right into it. Now, we all have to acknowledge that there was a rough start. Now, from day one, basically this puppy versus this puppy was not polished. Now, be very mindful. When I'm talking about polish, I'm talking about like user experience, as in user interface, smoothness, operation, fluidity, butterness, all that jazz. I'm not talking about horsepower. This puppy had plenty horsepower. This was like, I got this. So from that point of view, this was far more oomph, but it did not have the polish where people will hold this puppy and be like, this is a good device. This was like, on the other hand, I am quality. So there was a very simple real side effect of that people started to associate iOS with better and clean, it just works kind of crowd, and Android got an image that still is not able to shake, that it's for poor people or nerds. So that's one of those things that kind of stuck with us. And Android always had this issue that there was no unified language. Now you may be like, part one could not have created a reputation where it's like, it's permanently sorted. That's absolutely, because again, this will not sell like millions of dollars. After many iterations, you started to sell that kind of volume. But problem was, and Google never like, sat down and created a unified language, meaning you were literally using HTC Android, you were using Samsung Android, you were using Sony Ericsson Android. So that created an issue where people are like, dude, what am I using? Even though technically all of them say Android, they do not have a language where it's like, this is it, this is how it works. Apple on the other hand was like, this is Apple, if you create an app for our app store, you have to follow these guidelines or we'll kick your ass out of it. So there was some serious rough start. However, in recent time, Android has like surpassed iOS. In simple terms, basically, if you are using the device, as in like, I'm gonna take this device, use it as a computational device, 9 out of 10, you will be like, you know what, Android can actually do far more efficiently, far more reliably. And Apple just have that like, mine's bigger than yours kind of feeling, I'm richer than you. So how the heck, Android went from like garbage to like, it's a reliable thing, like people are buying it, people are using it. So it simply became a iterative process, because Android knew from day one that the update has to be done, but they had an issue. It's like, Samsung, HTC, Nokia, those sort of issues started, Motorola, those things become an issue. However, they started to create a scenario where update slowly started to become a normal part of things. Meaning, right now I have an old Samsung phone, Samsung F62, which is 1 year old, and I think it was released even older than that. So from release point of view, it's very old, and I just got Android 12. Now it's 1 year from my purchase. So after 1 year, generally back in the days, update was not a thing. Then slowly security update became a thing. Then now we are at a point where basically whole operating system update became a normal thing. Like you are getting it. And I remember back in the days, like boxes always used to celebrate what Android OS they had. Like it has KitKat, it has Jelly Bean. Those were done simply because, yeah, you're not gonna get anything. Meaning, if you buy KitKat, you're stuck with KitKat. You buy Jelly Bean, you're stuck with Jelly Bean. That has slowly started to change. Now people don't think about it. Companies don't advertise it. It's like which version of Android we have, because they are expecting it to, we're gonna update it. Basically, it's gonna be latest and greatest in like 6 months. So that's a really good thing. And all phones at this point in time is starting to touch that 3-year mark. Meaning my older phone, which is Samsung M30s, still getting security update. It's becoming a real thing where even old low budget phones, meaning I rarely buy phone that crosses 20,000 rupees or more, it's getting updates reliably, meaning update is a thing that's now here. So that issue of like, Android is always outdated, yeah, that's not happening anymore. And Android 12, they have been working behind the scene year after year after year after year. I have provided a video down below of an amazing gentleman who like actually breaks down how the heck Android is secure. Because like you will think, oh, Android, nobody does update, nobody does secure. Google knows this. It's Google's best interest to make sure that Android is secure. Otherwise, nobody is gonna buy apps on their app store. If they don't buy, they don't make money. So from that point of view, you get that like there is incentive for Android to be secure, and Google works their ass off to get that. How they are doing that, like break down technical level, core kernel level kind of stuff, that video is down below. They are now making security as a package, meaning we went from, there used to be like a lot of steps, like whole OS was as a package had to be updated and then sent to your device. Now that was stupid. Again, that was the limitation of that time. Basically, how many gigabytes can you transfer over the air, how much memory is there, how much RAM is there, all those things had a limitation. But over time those solved, those like issues dissipated. So now we are in a point where you can actually have whole operating system as onion layers, and company can just change the layers. Meaning basically Samsung can update the whole OS by just replacing the core. So the UI layer they built last year, it will still work. So that's a very critical aspect, because companies still want to maintain their signature to it. Basically, Samsung is like one UI. Other companies, their own UI skin, they want to maintain it. It's like they worked for it. And again, you, from Samsung point of view, Samsung wants, hey, it's a Samsung phone. They do not want to say it's an Android phone. They want to say it's a Samsung phone. So they like this layers scheme. And Android 12 start to create such a deep layering structure, where even security update is going from Google, Samsung to you, to Google to your phone. Done, go home, done, sweet dreams. Meaning any phone that has been released now, brand new hardware, brand new architecture, and Android 12 from day one, you do not have to worry about security updates. Meaning not even for 3 years. I'm like, basically Samsung has been cut out of it, Motorola has been cut out of it, OnePlus has to be cut out of it. Basically Google knows this for a fact. They're like, I'm gonna make a OS that I can just update it directly. You do not have to talk about it. Just like, update your phone, done, go home, sweet dreams. So that has been done. Basically update without vendor intervention. So that has been achieved at this point in time. Design language, again, it took them years to realize that stock Android, think of it this way, back in days we always used to talk about stock Android. Now we don't talk about that much, simply because all company realized it's much better if for everyone, if there was a unified language. Not only it makes development easy, it also makes switching easy, which every Android company wants. I've come basically Samsung wants, hey, you know what, if somebody is using Motorola, I want them to switch to my device without any issue. So having that one language makes it easy. And again, other companies also doing the same thing. Oppo is like, what if we had the one language, so people jumping from Samsung to us, they can jump without any issue. So Google is working their ass off. Now they have succeeded. Or last 2-3 years, all Android phones were more or less the same. And right now, they are creating Material You, and Material You is a very good thing. You have to understand, as a artist, I am familiar with the fact that we have color theories and all that. We have primary color, secondary color, tertiary color, and all that. There is a whole polothra of thing you have to understand. So every time you're seeing an image like this, somebody sat down and designed every single aspect of it. And that's the one thing that iOS had for early years, where they were they made sure their icons are approachable but not too childish. But compare theirs back in the days to any Androids are childish. It's like Apple was still trying to be colorful, bright, vibrant, but they never looked childish. They spent serious amount of money into that. Android learned that lesson. Again, it took a sweet time, but they learned it. And given the fact that now all OS has even custom skins have more or less the same feel to it, this Material is far easier to deploy. So deeper integration with apps are also now being a core requirement of Android. Meaning, if you're submitting a new app into App Store, you have to show that this puppy works in dark mode. You cannot be just like, no, I don't work. It's like back in the days, Google was not making that much money, so they were like, okay, just do it. Now they're like, oh, you're not gonna work, out. Oh, you're using very, very outdated SDKs, which may have some security vulnerabilities, out. So all those things, year by year, Android reached a point where if you are talking about computational horsepower, I'm not talking about emotional, feel, status symbol, but because it is true. Again, if you are going to a business meeting and you pull out something that's like mine's bigger than yours, you have that benefit. That's a tangible, workable, worth something kind of advantage. So many people have to buy iOS simply because they have to show. But if in terms of horsepower, how much oomph you can do, how much video footage you can crunch, how much basically what kind of feel you can get out of your camera, it's like Android is on a whole different level. I always liked how funny it is, Siri versus Google Voice. It's generational far apart how bad it is. Watch 2-3 years ago, it's like Google has humiliated Siri. Siri was launched first. 2 years later, Google is like, bro, hold it. So progress have been made, and at this point in time, Android is a reliable thing. So what is the next step of Android? Is privacy. Because people kind of freaking out right now is that they do not want somebody else to hear them 24/7, hear them or see them. And unfortunately it came too late. So it's one of those things that's it's good that we woke up, but we are not early enough. Meaning at this point in time, people just want to make sure that their data is only going to first party. Meaning if there is a microphone that's listening to you, you are comfortable when that listener is Amazon. You are comfortable if that is Apple. If you are comfortable if it's Google. So we just want to make sure that, okay, first party is gonna take it, but okay, I'm people are kind of okay with it. They just want to make sure nobody else is dropping, nobody is naughty is dropping on it. That's the thing that we want. We're like, why the heck calculator app is using my microphone? So that's we want to make sure. Again, much better compared to the old system, but still it's it's kind of makes me sad that we have accepted it. It's many YouTubers, big YouTubers, they are they're not gonna say Alexa because your Alexa might trigger. I'm like, are you serious? That many people have Alexa listening to them 24/7. No, just no. And I just did that because my phone just got updated and this logo started to pop up in front of Amazon. I'm like, dude, I'm not using Alexa. Why the heck it's on? It's like, oh, it's listening 24 into 7. I'm like, how about block? Same thing here. It's like, why the heck your weather app needs to know exactly, precisely where you are? It's like, no, bro, you take approximate. I still hate it that they do not have, other function where it's like, spoof the basically map, because you do want that function. Basically, it's like Wi-Fi analyzer. Why the heck it needs my location? There is not even a single, it's a radio function. It works on a radio. It does not need to know my satellite location. Fundamentally, it does not need to. It's just a radio wave. But they're like, I need your location. It's like there are some other applications that people have created that spoofs it. Basically, if you may be, let's say, in Utah, you may say, I'm in Tennessee. So that kind of thing is there. I really wish that was there. Like, just freaking spoof it. It's like, oh, you want my location and you will not work without it? How about lol? So I really wanted that. I really wanted that. So, but they have learned is like you have precise for driving application. Again, you need that. But for weather apps, things that does not make sense. Why the heck they have your location approximate? So things have been now focusing on privacy. So upcoming years will be solely focused on that. And I really wished one more function on Android is basically give us a way to just block internet access to apps. It's like this app is connecting to hometown. I don't need to. I don't need it to call to its mothership. I'm just like, how about no? How about just no? I just want that function. Now, thankfully, this is another benefit of that. There are some other Android vendors. This, like, fragmentation actually has the advantage that there are other companies that are giving you that function as a default. So again, not in core Android system, but it's there that you can block certain applications internet actions. So privacy will become the next big thing in upcoming times. Again, started to see that, and like many apps you will be thinking like, why the heck this app is listening? If it has that, just block it. It's good. Like, again, it will not protect you from first party listeners, but at least they're first party listeners. And please do not watch Civil War, because then you will understand why even that first party is a bad thing. Captain America's dialogue is like, it's just run by people have agendas, and agendas change. So Google may be like, yeah, next day Google may be like, I can, like, pull back your records and put you to jail, because yeah, it has happened. So it's one of those things that, we are a bit late, but at least better than third party. So what other in terms of hardware development? Hardware development kind of stalled at this point in time, and I don't expect any mobile CPUs to get any faster, simply because they have reached a thermal limit. It's like, how the heck you're gonna cool it? And that's why you will notice that all the flagships now, they're saying we have vapor chamber, we have this, we have that, simply because to cool it is not a big issue. You can't, like, keep crunching the numbers. You can't make transistor any smaller, because if you make it much smaller, the heat does not have enough space to dissipate. It will melt other nearby transistor. So yes, you can technically make a 1 nanometer system, but you might need liquid nitrogen to cool it. So kind of CPU wise, we kind of reached a point where we are optimizing more, not getting more horsepower. Basically, we are improving the gearbox, we are improving the traction system, but we are not like, let's add more horsepower. We kind of settled at this point in time. But what is one thing that is constant across every single vendor, every single manufacturer, every single era? Big. We want big displays. And I remember back in my old days, when I was first mobile phone that has color display I accessed was Samsung C100. It was very slim phone, world's first slim phone, 1.1 centimeter phone. Yeah, back in the day, centimeter was big deal. It was like 11 millimeter phones. So it had color screen. It was like this small, and it felt big to me. Again, I was kid back then, and not to mention there was no other alternate. But right now we went from 3 inches to 4 inches to 6 inches now. Like, there was a joke from Apple that, like, your phone will always fit in such a way that your thumb can reach the further stage. Basically, thumb can access everything. That was the, like, thumb radius is the thing. Now basically, by Apple's Ultra is like, yeah, your thumb needs to be extended. So we need big. However, even though phones are getting bigger and it's very good for media consumption, in terms of operation, meaning in terms of uses, it's not that much better compared to 4 inches one. Like, why the heck it's not better? Because app needs to be redesigned. Meaning, if you take a mobile phone, let's say I have a computer screen that I work on that is 21.5 inches. Many of you may have used it or may have already have it, or in those sort of scenarios, those are generally full HD one. Now, full HD on my computer screen, I can work on it, meaning I can do video editing, I can write code, I can do game development, I can do CAD work, all that jazz I can do on it. Can I do that on full HD of my mobile phone? No. Now you may think, what if I like basically screencaster? I still can't, because apps are designed in such a way that they are using user interface as thumbs. Like, they are designed for thumbs, basically big giant things. So meaning, if I project my mobile phone here, the icons are this big. Icons are huge because they are expecting that you are only going to use your thumbs. Now that was awesome in back in the days of 4 inches, 5 inches, but now it's kind of holding us back. And Foldable has created that problem that is now expanded, meaning your phones are huge. And this is the first time I'm seeing Samsung phones are used as like, mine's bigger than yours. Because here's the deal, Apple, everybody buys Apple. So Apple has lost that kind of luster where it's like, I'm richer than you. So how do you show that I'm richer than you? You pull out a Fold. Mine's much bigger than yours. Bank balance. So I have seen that. Like I have seen basically, I went into conference. You may have seen that in my community page. People were pulling this puppy out. I'm like, your bank balance is really good because this makes Apple look cheap. So we are reaching a point where phones are becoming close to PCs, and in terms of horsepower, in terms of computation, it's good enough. We can do a lot more things, and not to mention most of the things are done online. Heck, I'm making this presentation online only. So many things can be done if the user interface is supported, meaning we need a PC kind of user interface. So that needs to be something. Basically, all the apps that have to be developed has to be done in such a way that it has small mode, meaning your thumb mode, and big mode where you are, casting it onto, big displays and utilizing it properly. For media, we are there already. Media, we got it. Everything else, we are still stuck. So current implementation leaves a lot to be desired. So basically, foldables, that's why they are stuck. They go this way, like you can put a Google spreadsheet app on a mobile phone on a foldable for more or less the same. Like that's not how it's supposed to be. Like if you are pulling the inside out, icons should become much smaller. Basically that's the whole point of it. The foldable is not as well implemented as we wanted it to be. So what about legislation? Now this is the basically bitter reality of it, meaning all the lawmakers were kind of sleeping, and right now they are looking into the ecosystem, because you have to understand there has been precedents in the past where companies were trying to become the god emperor of everything, like Microsoft. And basically legislation body was like, you know what, no, thou shall not become the god emperor of everything. So they really put some serious brakes on it. Now that was awesome. However, they kind of slipped during the era of phone development, because there are many flat out unethical, flat out raw uncompetitiveness, meaning anti-competitive behaviors, and there's kind of people are just ignoring, because it took time. But at this point in time, people are waking up. I was like, dude, this is not like, if back in early 2000s, if Microsoft did that, there would be missile app launched at Bill Gates' ass. So flat out, how the heck Apple and Google are getting away? Trick is that is the vector they are using to protect themselves. Like, hey, we are not a monopoly. You have Apple, and Apple is saying, hey, we are not a monopoly, you have Google. And both of them are playing this smart game where there's both of them are acting like assholes, and they know for a fact that you don't actually have other option. I'm never touching Apple. Again, I can afford it. Again, it's a cheap device from my point of view, but again, I throw it away every 2 years. Not really that worth it, and I do not need to show mine's bigger than yours. So I'd rather buy a high-end mirrorless camera. So I'm stuck with Android, and Android is like, what else you gonna do? iPhone people who are stuck in the ecosystem, they're like, what else you wanna do? So both of these companies are creating a very serious issue, which finally lawmakers are like, not good. They are looking into it, and they are literally targeting where it hurts, meaning the app stores of these two puppies. And if you're targeting app store, even a loss revenue of only 1% to 2% per year translates to a lot. And you may be telling, hey dude, they are giving them very small fines. Here's the deal, the fine itself does not hurt. Fine hurts simply because it's a raw fine, meaning you can't give to legislation body, here's our sales, here's our stock. You have to give them raw hard cash, like wire transfer from basically your bank account to national treasury. And that's problematic, because while these companies have $2 trillion $2 trillion evaluation, does not mean they have $2 trillion in bank account. They will be lucky if they have only 1 or 2 billion. And again, generally you don't want your bank balance to be very huge. You just want enough to be there for bad times like COVID. So generally they have very small pool of safety reserves, and that safety is used as a loan guarantee. But if you start to take even a small chunk from that safety, companies start to whoa. So it's one of those things that they know what they're doing. In terms of punishing them, they know how they're doing. And again, it's not in their best interest. Like, I'm going to collapse your company. That's not good. So they're seriously taking a closer look at Apple and Google, and they're like, how both of you are using other is there, so I'm not a monopoly. It's like to create a monopoly. So legislation is a kind of good thing. Bad thing also, again, I do not want companies to be completely under the thumb of government. I don't want Putin here, but sometimes you need checks and balances, some breaks, some things, because we are very lucky because this was done in the early eras of computer. If it was not done, the end, we would not have this kind of amazing technology. And again, that's why Bill Gates directly bailed out Steve Jobs. Basically, Apple was sinking, and he had to do that just to he can protect against anti-competitive lawsuits. So it was a very good thing. But think of this way, like, what would have happened if that time lawmakers were like, who cares? We would be in a very bad situation. So legislation is the final frontier at this point in time, and I hope, pray, wish, beg that they do the right thing. So this was my presentation on basically what's the future of Android. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.